911, where's your emergency?
I killed somebody.
Who did you kill?
I don't want to say right now.
He says this is where he buried the body in here. There's the shovel. He said it's not very deep either.
He was a bad man.
A violent incident that rocked a Harper Woods neighborhood and destroyed a family more than a week ago just keeps getting worse. 23-year-old Jonathan Welch was let out on bond, accused of torturing his girlfriend. Police say he used that bond as freedom to take her life and the lives of others. Sean Lay is live where after a third person has died in connection with all of this. Sean.
1 week ago, this shocking scene played out across the street from Jeff Wolf's Harper Woods home. Video showing 23-year-old Jonathan Welch surrendering to police after prosecutors say Welch killed his longtime girlfriend Zelega Frazier, his stepfather Robert Bray, setting his mother's home on fire and shooting at police. Also, Welch's own mother was stabbed.
Some stories should never happen, but they did. One question before anything else. What does a violent man have to do before the system treats him like a threat? In this case, torture a woman with tools he arranged in advance. Kill a second woman, leave her in a field. Get arrested, get bonded out, go home, set that home on fire with his family inside. 38 days. 4 people whose lives were permanently altered or ended by one man. Every one of them connected to him. Every one of them let down by decisions made by courts, dispatchers, and officers that kept handing him another opportunity. I'm introducing every person in this story before they appear in it. No jumping, no assumptions. You will know exactly who each person is, what tied them to Jonathan Welch, and what he did. We start with the first woman he killed. She was 24 years old, east side of Detroit. Her friends and family called her one thing, Sparkles. She was the older sister, the one who showed up, the one who already had plans to attend her younger sister's graduation. She died the night before they walked across that stage. Her mother told them to go anyway, do it for her. They put on their gowns and crossed that stage the morning after learning she was gone. Last time I saw her, I hugged her and told her I love her. She was talking about, oh, I'm going to come down to the graduation. Yeah, she died. The day before her sisters graduated, they had to walk across stage knowing their sister died. I told them, do it for your sister. Natala had worked at a Chrysler dealership, steady income, a routine moving forward. In March 2022, she lost the job. By spring, a close friend who later spoke with investigators confirmed she had shifted into paid meetups with men found through apps. Her family knew nothing. She kept that world sealed. No names shared, no app details, nothing traceable through her circle. Her friend had already watched one situation go wrong. Natala was in a car with a man from one of those apps. Something turned. She was screaming for help. The friend begged her to stop going out alone at night. She did not stop. No enemies, no record, no conflict in any visible part of her life, and no way of knowing the man she agreed to meet on June 3rd, 2022, had put another woman through hours of torture 48 hours before. That warrant was not public. No alert could reach her. She made the only decision she could with what she knew, and what she knew was not enough. 23 years old, Kilbourne Street, Connor neighborhood, east side of Detroit. Remember that address. Jonathan Welch had an 18-month-old son with his longtime girlfriend, Zelega Frazier. He had been with Zelega long enough to tattoo her likeness on his body, alongside his mother, Flossie Bray. The women closest to him marked on his skin like a claim. One thing the full record makes undeniable. This man did not act without thinking. He did not grab the nearest object in a sudden moment. He thought ahead. He set things in motion before acting. Hold that. It explains everything that follows. The first victim. The warning no one acted on. Zelega Frazier was Jonathan's girlfriend and his son's mother. She had been living with him. She knew his moods and had seen his anger up close. June 2nd, 2022. 2 nights before Natala Morris was found dead. Zella woke at approximately 3 a.m. Jonathan was dragging her out of bed, across the floor, down the stairs, into the living room. At the bottom of those stairs, she saw what he had placed there before he ever came up to wake her. A gas can, garden shears, an extension cord, a belt, a towel, a metal rod, a drill, a circular saw. Every item arranged, every item chosen. Preparation, not impulse. The reason, per her account filed with Detroit PD, someone had called her phone during the night. Jonathan wanted to know who. She refused to give him the password. That was his entire justification. What followed lasted hours. She found a moment and took it. She ran. She called police. Jonathan had already taken the car keys. Gone before officers could respond. Detroit PD filed the charges, assault and torture. A warrant entered the system. A search began. He was not found. 2 days later, June 4th, Natala Morris was beaten to death. This is the connection that reframes the entire case. Natala did not know Zila. She knew nothing about the tools on that living room floor. She had no access to the warrant information. The gap between what the system held and what Natala could access was the gap that killed her. Natala's Ford Focus began moving at 11:30 p.m. on June 3rd. Her cell phone, recovered later from her burned car, recorded every location. First, Kilbourne Street, Jonathan's block, a stop, then a stretch near 7 Mile and Evergreen, then back down Dickerson Avenue, which feeds directly into Kilbourne, his block a second time. Before 3 a.m., cameras on Lenox Street captured the white Focus arriving with the trunk already open. A man whose identity is protected across all records as John Doe was awake on the second floor of his home on Lenox. He looked out, trunk up. A woman's voice cutting through the dark. "Help me." A gunshot. Silence. He filmed it. His phone captured a man running back to that car, slamming the trunk, driving away. At 2:52 a.m., John Doe called 911. "I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. I think somebody just shot a woman. She was running down the street screaming, 'Help me!' I heard a gunshot. I have a video of the car. The trunk was open. He slammed it and drove away." Not one police car came to Lenox Street that night. John Doe waited, watched until he couldn't, slept. The next afternoon, he walked to the vacant lot himself, past the brush, past the sidewalk no one maintained, deeper in. He found her. He called 911 a second time. The first call was urgent. This one carried something beyond urgency. "I called about somebody getting shot last night, and the police never came out. I'm walking down the street and her body is right here. I got video of the car. At 2:52 a.m., she was screaming, 'Help!' You heard a gunshot. It got quiet. I called you guys. Y'all ain't, and now this lady dead right here by my house." Detroit police arrived and documented drag marks in the ground, a shell casing in the street, and Natala Morris in thick vegetation. No bag, no phone, no identification. The autopsy the next day confirmed multiple blunt force injuries. The gunshot had not killed her. She was beaten to death. Her tattoos were the only way to identify her. Sparkles, 24 years old. Investigators pulled Natala's messages through the recovered phone. On June 3rd, she had been in contact with more than one man. The first, a Kilbourne Street resident named Thayers, who had an ongoing arrangement with her similar to her other meetings. Thayers came in without resistance. He surrendered his phone for full extraction. He gave a DNA sample. He sat for a polygraph. He cleared everything. He was ruled out. I got the call like, "Man, something happened to Sparkles?" Because that's what we called her, Sparkles. The second name in those messages, Jonathan Lamont Welch, Kilbourne Street, active arrest warrant, assault and torture charges, missing since June 2nd. Investigators placed the Bray family property under surveillance. Two people approached the door while officers watched: Jonathan's mother, Flossie Bray, and his stepfather, Robert Bray Jr. Officers stopped their vehicle. Flossie was carrying a registered firearm, a purple and black Taurus 9mm. Taken temporarily, she was brought in. Flossie Bray was Jonathan Welch's mother, close enough to him to act when he needed someone to. Detectives sat across from her and disclosed nothing. Not Natala Morris, not the murder charge, not what they knew. They told her only that a surveillance operation was running nearby. She gave them almost nothing back. "I try to mind my own business, stay out of other people's business. I don't know what they be going on." Said she hadn't seen Jonathan in about a week. Answered as little as possible. Walked out. That same day, June 10th, 2022, Jonathan Welch was arrested. Murder, primary charge. Arrest photographs showed scratches, partially healed, along his left arm and chest. At the bond hearing, prosecutors raised only the assault and torture charges from June 2nd, not the murder. Bond, $100,000. Flossie Bray went to a bondsman, covered the 10%. Her son left with an electronic monitor in an order to remain at her home on Kenosha Street in Harper Woods. A no-contact order between Jonathan and Zila was on record. And yet, the court required Zila to bring their 18-month-old to that Kenosha Street address for visitation. A no-contact order and a visitation requirement, both active, both signed by the same system, pointing in opposite directions. Stop here with me. A man charged with murder and torture, released, sent to his mother's house with a monitor, and the court that issued Zila's no-contact order also required her to bring her child through that front door. Drop your city and the time in the comments. I want to know who is in this room. Now, July 10th, 2022, Kenosha Street. This is where everything arrives. Zila Frazier came to Kenosha Street because a court order put her there. She walked through the front door of the Bray home, the residence of a man charged with murder and torture under electronic supervision, because she legally had no other option. On July 10th, from inside a bedroom in that house, she called 911. "I'm being held hostage. My house father, he is trying to kill me." "Is he at the house right now?" "Yes, he's not letting me leave. His mother is hiding in the room." The dispatcher asked how long. Screaming, the line cut. 90 seconds later, a neighbor's phone rang. A woman had collapsed against his front door. A knife was still in her back. Flossie Bray, Jonathan's mother. The woman who posted his bond, secured his release, opened her home to him, stabbed, and crawled far enough to reach a neighbor's doorstep before she could not go further. Her son stabbed her in the back, stabbed the whole family. Officers arrived at Kenosha Street. Smoke moved through the structure. In the backyard, the 18-month-old boy, alone. Officers carried him out, alive. His mother somewhere inside the burning building. Gunfire from the windows. Officers pinned. Firefighters unable to approach. The fire spread while the standoff held for hours. Then the front door opened. A man stepped out. Shorts, no shirt, hands raised. He said he was not the shooter. When the fire was out, officers went in. Multiple victims, blunt force trauma, stab wounds, arson confirmed. June 2nd, Jonathan Welch drags Zila downstairs to a room he prepared with a gas can, shears, a rod, a drill, and a saw. She survives. He disappears. A warrant is issued. June 4th, Natala Morris, who knew nothing of June 2nd, is beaten to death. John Doe called at 2:52 a.m. with video and a location. No car came. June 10th, Jonathan is arrested on a murder charge. His mother bonds him out. Only the torture count is raised at the hearing. He goes home with a monitor. July 10th, he stabs his mother, traps Zila inside a burning building, leaves their son alone in a yard. 38 days after walking out on bond, 4 people. Zella Frazier, who survived twice and will carry both of those survivals for the rest of her life. Natala Morris, who did not get that chance. Flossie Bray, who paid for her son's release and received a knife for it. A child, 18 months old, found alone while the house behind him burned. One man at the center, every person connected to him directly. A system that had a warrant, a body, a charge, and a clear pattern, and kept finding ways to return him to the world. Natala Morris made choices that placed her in danger. Those choices lived inside a world that had already taken her income, her stability, and her options before she made a single one of them. That changes nothing about Jonathan Welch's responsibility. He targeted deliberately. He acted with preparation each time. The responsibility is entirely and only his. But the system made choices too, and they have dates on them. A dispatcher took a call at 2:52 a.m. with a live scene, a witness, and video evidence. No car was dispatched. Natala was dead by morning. Detroit PD filed charges on June 2nd, lost track of a wanted man, and he killed someone 48 hours later. A bond hearing was held for a man facing murder. The murder was not raised. He left the courthouse. A court issued a no-contact order and a visitation order simultaneously, and placed the woman being protected inside the residence of the man she needed protection from. Flossie Bray brought her son home. He put a knife in her back. That is in the record because each decision in this story carried a consequence, and not one of those consequences stayed with strangers. Natala Morris deserved a car on Lenox Street. Zella Frazier deserved a system that stopped this on June 2nd. That child deserved a yard that was not a crime scene. Some stories should never happen, but they did. Tell me your city in the comments. Tell me what should have been different. Like this if it matters. Subscribe to stay in this room. I'll see you in the next one.